This video is brought to you by G2A.com.
Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome to the exceL eSports YouTube channel. Today I'm joined by Zed and QwiKeR, and we're going to be kind of giving you a mid-season recap of how we're doing in the CWL and who we faced up against, how things have gone, etc., and their overall experience. How are we both doing today?
We're good, man.
Oh, awesome. I mean, we've already had a few problems, so I'm hoping this is going to be plain smooth running. I mean, QwiKeR has been ill over the last week, I think. And
I was ill for a day, then we had 2 CWL matches.
I think you're the only person who I know that can just be ill for a day and then just be fine.
I mean, I was sick. I woke. Like, I don't want to get into it too much, right? Because
it's too graphical.
We've got something to do here, but I was basically vomiting non-stop for like 3 hours.
Nice.
And then I hydrated myself, had some good food, and I was back to normal.
Awesome stuff. Well, we finally got them both together, so obviously I can talk to them about how they've been doing so far, because it makes no sense just for me to do this video as them two are within the CWL playing, etc. So to start things off, obviously, CWL, this is the first time it's obviously been in existence. How has it been for both of you so far?
I think we're loving it, pretty much. eSL are doing great things. I've been playing for like 2 or 3 years now. This is easily the best online practice I've had in the whole time I've played. It's just so intense and we're loving it.
Yeah, what about you, Zed?
Wonderful, dude.
Yeah, I'm just going to get one word answers from you, I can tell already. Let's get into obviously talking about the CWL itself and the matchups you've had so far, because we're about just over halfway through. We've had 5 out of the 9 weeks, but going all the way back, hopefully this will bring back some good memories. Week 1, we actually started off absolutely amazing. We beat Pulse 3-0. Little did we know that Pulse have one of the worst records I think we've seen in Call of Duty history. But you also beat Splice, what was a pretty big, crucial win, if I don't mind saying so. So, I mean, to start off, how kind of were you feeling? You must have been pretty amped to kind of especially beat Splice, because, I mean, Splice at the moment are sitting towards the top of the table and you took him out 3-1.
After the Pulse game, like that was a really straightforward matchup.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were expecting it to be a lot harder just because they made it to the league. They beat Fabe, who are looking really strong beforehand. And then we beat them 3-0. Zach thought he was the best player in the game after that. He got, how many followers, Zach? He got 150 followers, yeah, and he thought he was the bollocks. Little did he know that we were going to win 1 map over 30, bro. And then, playing against Splice, that was like a huge test for us, because we knew they were a really good team.
Because obviously they qualified at the Invitational. They were one of the four teams to obviously qualify. They didn't qualify with ease, shall we say, but they still qualified. What's the main thing? So obviously they were considered to be one of the top tier teams in Europe, and they obviously have proven that, as we'll go on to talk about. So for you to beat them 3-1 at the start of the season was absolutely huge. I mean, would you maybe say that taking Pulse down 3-0 so confidently kind of gave you a bit of a boost going into this matchup?
Playing against Splice, we were convinced it was going to be a really hard game just because they made like a roster change. I mean, the event they qualified, they had Dom, Reedy, Josh and Vance. And then Dom and Reedy were no longer in that team. They picked up Steve-O and they picked up Hockey.
Yeah.
Who are 2 of the, like, 2 top tier players, like, awesome players. So we knew that it'd be a tough game. Coming out on top was massive for us. It was a massive confidence boost and stuff, but yeah, that was pretty much it.
Okay. Week 2, I don't really know what happened. I've watched all your matches and I've watched them back numerous times because I've been doing obviously the VOD for the exceL channel. But you went up against Giants and it wasn't maybe the result you were looking for. Can you just kind of elaborate on kind of what exactly happened in that matchup?
Too overconfident.
Right.
No.
We did.
No. Basically, what happened? Hard point. We were down quite a bit in the hard point.
Right.
I got a really good 10 kill streak. That turned the hard point around.
Yeah, I mean,
that basically turned the hard point.
That win in hard point was so intense from a viewer's standpoint, because obviously I think you were down going into that final. I think it was like the 3rd hill on rotation.
Yeah,
what was the final?
Went on for ages.
Yeah, and the amount of congestion that went on in that last hill of the map was ridiculous. But obviously you came out on top. I mean, yeah, as you said, QwiKeR, I remember you going on a ridiculous kill streak. Then as things evolved, obviously, just fast forwarding, went all the way to a game 5 where you ultimately ended up losing. So I mean, to kind of have that after such a good start, what was that kind of feeling like in your minds?
it was like a punch to the face, man.
Yeah.
Probably the best way to describe it. Like, we were looking at the Giants game. I don't think we were looking at it as like an automatic win, but we knew we were the better team.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
over the course of the league, like the teams we have beaten, we've shown that we are the better team. It was just
Yeah. I think
we've
that.
lost
I mean, that's evident. I mean, just to put it in contrast, I mean, Giants have obviously been in relegation since week 1 and have not come out of it since. So I mean, you're clearly the better team overall, but obviously just on the day. I mean, you did kind of mention it, Zed. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, you may disagree QwiKeR, but I mean, do you think that you maybe did under practice, maybe were a bit too confident,
100%.
and then as you went into it, it just obviously hit you in the face like a train, if you will.
I wouldn't, sorry for interrupting. It was like the way it happened was we played against Splice, we beat them. We didn't put too much practice into that Splice series for I don't know what happened. Like I don't know. We just didn't practice a lot. And then we thought. I mean, I don't think it was nothing that was conscious. Like it was subconscious. We went into the Giants game thinking, oh, if we can beat Splice without playing very much, then we should be able to beat Giants. And it was just, that was stupid.
So it was a mindset of, well, we've just beaten Splice, who are going to be one of our biggest competition. Giants, yes, they qualified, but we should do what we did to Pulse, basically.
Yeah, like we were playing, but we just weren't playing the best teams we could have at the time.
Yeah,
and it is nice, pretty much.
Yeah, precisely. But I mean, within saying that, there was a kind of a good story that came out at the end of the week because you took on Infused. Now, Infused obviously got 3-0'd by Splice earlier in the week on the Tuesday. Then you played them on the Wednesday, and in all fairness, from what I saw, it was utter pretty much domination from you guys.
Yeah. To be fair to them, they had connection issues, but that Giants game for us was like the shock we needed. And after that, we've been like pretty serious about what we're doing. There's no letting up now, pretty much. Like we said, that literally can't happen again. Like we can't lose to teams that we should be beating, and not really happened since. So.
It's shown because obviously to bounce back and to beat Infused that way, if there was connection issues, it is what it is. It's online Call of Duty. We all know that it's temperamental, but the main thing is you beat them 3-0. For you, Zach, how did that feel to kind of bounce back after that loss against Giants?
It was good because we shouldn't have lost to Giants in the first place. Like,
yeah.
If anything, we expected to lose to Infused and beat Giants, so
it was like the reverse.
Expected to lose to Infused. Sorry, what am I tuning with?
Infused the best team in the game.
No, I'm joking.
He's the best.
I get what you're saying. Like we would have expected, if anything, like before that week started, like to beat Giants and if anything lose to Infused.
Yeah.
If we were to come out of that week 1-1.
Do you think it was? I mean, I don't want to kind of disregard you guys in terms of talent, but do you think Infused were having an off week because they did get 3-0'd by Splice as well? What was kind of it tells a story, if you will.
Yeah, they did that.
There was probably issues like. They probably weren't communicating very well.
Yeah.
Like having Dave Marsh lagging was obviously like a massive disadvantage. That probably killed their vibe even more, to be fair. And like we were playing well, but at the same time they weren't playing.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do if you are lagging or if you are just having an off series or whatever. But ultimately, though, coming out of week 2, you were 3-1. What was the main thing? You were still positive and still in a really good position because I think you were just below Millennium and Epsilon at this point going forward, and in a pretty good, strong situation considering Infused had gone 0-2. I think Splice went, they went 2-0 that week, but obviously you beat them the week before. So ultimately, you were in a good position with the top tier teams. Then week 4 hit, and we had a pretty big matchup again. Obviously, the same matchups that we had on the Wednesday of week 2, we had on the Tuesday of week 3, so obviously you faced Infused again, and obviously this time got beat 3-0. I think it didn't truly tell the story though, because I know definitely in that hard point you guys started slow, you made that massive comeback towards the end, but it just wasn't enough to kind of obviously close it out and take the win for yourselves. But ultimately, like, what was the difference between that week 2 against Infused and week 3 against Infused?
I'd say they were playing much better. I didn't have the best series against Infused. That was probably the worst series that I've played throughout the league.
Yeah.
Which didn't help us. And the ban and protect, they messed us up bad in that ban and protect in that first map at least. And then I don't know, we just couldn't find our feet. The S&D, I can't remember what the score was in the S&D. Can't remember the map, but Fringe Uplink was one of the stronger maps that we've had as a team throughout like our duration teaming, and they just played it better than us.
Yeah,
pretty much was what happened there.
Yeah, I mean, is there at this point in time, is there a game mode that you guys know, like, yeah, we need to work on it, etc.? Because I mean, I've noticed, we'll come on to talk about it, that one week you were well, last week, what was week 4, you were really strong in S&D. Although you lost to Millennium and Epsilon, you were really strong in S&D. You were the first team to actually take down Millennium in S&D legitly. Obviously Vitality got given the win because of the forfeit. And then you obviously beat Epsilon as well. But then this week, it's kind of been a reverse, where you've been looking really good in Respawn. Yeah, it is frustrating. I mean, it's frustrating from my aspect. It must be even more so for you guys as players, knowing how you can be really strong in one game type and then it completely flips the other side. So is there something you guys have realised, or is it just kind of situational? It depends on who you're playing. Obviously, ban and protect, as we talked about, comes into it quite a bit as well.
Yeah, I think for us, we've always been strong at S&D. Our S&D... Wait, did I say S&D there?
Yeah.
Like, we've always... Sorry. Let me take that back. We've always been, like, naturally strong at Respawn. Like, I'd say we're up there, like, at the top of the league when it comes to Respawn. Our S&D's been letting us down a lot throughout the duration of the league.
Yeah.
We did work on it quite a lot going into the week against, was it Epsilon and Millennium?
Yeah. So week 4.
Yeah, which is why I feel like the reason we won those S&Ds was because we practiced a lot on it, and for some reason again we neglected our respawn that week. Should never happen, but what happened, we learned from it. Like, as long as we take all this into LAN event and we qualify for LAN event.
So in all fairness, even though you're practicing for league matches, in essence, league matches are practice as well, in terms of, like, it's as competitive as you can get right now, and you're obviously playing top tier teams, and they're going to be playing at the top of their game, so it's the best way for you guys to learn. I mean, you know, there's no better way to learn than losing, because obviously you can then, especially with theatre's a massive asset. I'm sure it's one that you guys use in terms of going back, looking at situational plays, and obviously then determining kind of how you could have done something better, etc. But so obviously, just to recap, week 3, you beat LDLC, but obviously lost to Infuse. That LDLC win, I think we can all agree, was pretty routine. Didn't seem to struggle too much, and it was like the Giants game, but actually this time you ended up winning as expected, should we say. So, but anyway, moving into week 4, Zach, talk me through week 4, because this has to date been your biggest week, Millennium and Epsilon in one week. Kind of what were your preparation going into it, and talk me through the matches.
Well, we knew we were always, well, the series weren't in our favour both times. We knew that everyone was looking at them two teams to beat us.
True.
And we worked on our S&D again.
Yeah.
Because we needed that to be strong. We knew, obviously, if we can take it to a game 5, we work on our S&D, we can win. That week was a good week because the S&Ds we had were our best S&Ds.
Okay, so that did play in your favour.
Yeah, and it was just simple respawns. We just didn't click like we normally do.
Yeah.
Because we've been working so much on S&D.
It's one of those things, it's like, it's kind of finding a medium where you can work on everything as much as you need to, etc. I mean, especially in the Millennium game, I don't think it was a case of they dominated you in the respawn, by no means, especially that hard point. I felt like, I think it was on Fringe, yeah, that was it. It was pretty close throughout until the last 2 hard points where they pulled away from my aspect. Then obviously S&D, as I said before, like, you took it and you were the first team to take down Millennium in S&D legitly. Then the uplink, it was a case of where there's a clear one favoured side, and you scored so much on that favoured side, I believe, and then when they had that favoured side, they just happened to score more, I believe, was the situation. But then the CTF happened on eVank, and this must have been really frustrating. Obviously, everyone's had their opinion on it, but ultimately, like, Zach, you were the one in the situation yourself. It came all the way, obviously, down to overtime, where it was obviously 1-1 in normal time. Got to second side of overtime with only about, I'd say, a minute half or 2 minutes on the clock. Tommy runs the flag around poolside where B-Dom is. Just talk me through kind of what happened from your situation, because...
Well...
Put him on the spot.
I knew Swanee was bottom green, right, with a scythe, because I knew he was there because he just killed Nick and Shea.
Yeah.
Tommy shouldn't have even pulled the flag in the first place. Up props to him. He juked Brian out. Like, he shouldn't have even got to the flag. As I jumped up, I popped my kinetic in case Swanee was just pre-aiming, like ready to kill me.
Yeah.
I could take like another bullet or so. As I started shooting Tommy, I hit a wall run, which I didn't mean to hit.
Didn't mean to, yeah. It looked that way.
So it
It's,
threw my aim off, and I was like, what the f***, like.
yeah.
I just landed on a wall, like, it's going to throw me off. And then I just didn't recover in time to fucking kill him.
Yeah, I mean, it happens to everyone. That's the thing. I think they slowed it down after the game, and looking at Tommy's movement, he's kind of going one way, then strafes another, then goes upwards. So it's kind of, it's going to be hard, especially as you were already aiming and shooting, so you're not going to get that auto aim when you kind of aim in on him. So yeah, it's one of the situations, but ultimately Millennium ended up taking it. But I mean, you could argue that if that hadn't happened, it would have gone to an S&D, and you probably would have been favoured, considering that you beat Millennium on, I think it was Breach, pretty convincingly. So it just shows kind of a couple of things that get improved here and there, and you're a team that easily can contend, and we'll talk about that with what matches you've had this week. But other than that, you played Epsilon. It was pretty much similar to the Millennium game in the sense that they took all respawns, but you took the S&D. QwiKeR, I guess we have to mention what happened in Uplink on Breach, as he is going to now leave. Maybe Zach can tell me, because, I mean, from your aspect, how hard is that? Because in my mind, you're sitting there, you're wall running, just about to either go for a 1-pointer or a 2-pointer. And, I mean, is it a very tricky scenario? Because you guys knew that if you took the 2-pointer, you could have won the game.
It was frustrating because
it was a dire situation, man. It was a dire situation.
Like,
yeah.
we didn't expect kills that quickly on their base.
Yeah,
I
precisely.
didn't get 2 kills. And by the time I got the second kill, which was like the goalie sense, he was the guy underneath that portal ready to catch it, which was Reedy. Shea was already mid-air, so like.
Yeah,
he had to decide.
It was a split second, and it's almost like because you've got them 2 decisions in your head, he kind of did in between, if you will. And it sucks, but I mean, everyone's kind of had their view on it, if you will. But at the end of the day, when you're in that situation,
I bet. Can we get a clip? Can we get a clip of Shea?
I can probably put it on screen. Yeah.
Myself, man.
Yeah, I can probably put that in the video, and I'll obviously put the Zed clip in as well, because obviously
every time I see it, or saw it, just motivated me, man.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's not necessary. I mean, you can obviously look at the fact that you basically choked, but at the same time, it's nice kind of a. I'm trying to get a positive out of this. It's a good experience in terms of
it happened online.
Yeah, precisely, because
we encounter that situation at LAN, we know exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. You may have not been in this situation before against a top tier team, so now you're in it. Like you're basically preparing yourselves for every result possible, etc. So, but that was week 4. Obviously, as I said, a tough week. You obviously went 0-2, but you said it yourself. It was a week where you were seen as kind of the team that weren't as favourable to win the series, especially as Epsilon and Millennium were top of the league for 2 weeks running. So, but this week, I personally feel like we had a good week. I don't know what your views are on it. Obviously, we started with LDLC, playing them for the second time, beat them 3-1. Do you want to just talk me through what happened in the S&D? Because as I talked about, we were good on S&D in week 4, and then kind of this week, I don't know if it was a case of LDLC just were outplaying you guys, but they seemed to be the better team in general. Was it just a case of it was their connection, it was better ban and protecting their favour, etc.?
Honestly, like, we've been teaming for what, like 3.5 months, and they'd been teaming for like a week max. We should be winning that S&D hands down. Yeah. It's just bad from us.
Yeah, okay.
Was it Fringe?
Yeah, Fringe. It's not our strongest map, but
it's still one of our
computer's shutting down. I'll be right back.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
So obviously the second match on the Wednesday you played Millennium, and the reason I say I think this was a good week because although you went 1-1, I think you showed Millennium kind of what you guys are made of. I mean, you started off in really good fashion, winning hardpoint on evac pretty considerable. Like I think at one stage you were up by about 120 points, ended up pretty much easy closing it out. For you, was it a case of, because obviously the meta has shifted since the recent patches, the Vesper's no longer kind of the go-to SMG if possible, and I think in my opinion, don't know about yours, it definitely aids your game, because obviously I know Zach, you're more of a VMP guy, and as a SMG Slayers, what you both are, or well, QwiKeR a bit of an OBJ, but you're more entwined. You're more entwined to go towards like a VMP, a Kuda, rather than a Vespa.
100%.
So would you say that the recent patch has kind of aided you two?
I think it
Yeah,
has.
it's aided our team a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
we
we
didn't
usually
like Vespers.
protect. We usually, I don't like get too much into our ban and protect strategy, but we prefer to play without the Vespa pretty much. So.
Yeah. So now
Yeah.
that kind of it's a gun that seems to like not be banned and still not be used, it's definitely kind of worked in your guys' favour, and obviously that you could argue is one of the main reasons why you played so well against Millennium that first map. I mean, can I just ask you guys what exactly is going on with Nolson running now in ICR? Is that like more because obviously the ARs have had a bit of a buff as well, so is that a more preferable gun for him over like an M8 or an XR2?
I think Brian and Nick just really enjoy using the the ICR. Like I think they prefer using automatic ARs instead of semi-automatic, just because they can't get one bombed by it.
Nick's aggressive. Nick's an aggressive AR as well. Like,
Yeah, I've noticed. I mean, that first map
around.
he dropped about I think like 40 or something close to it.
Yeah,
I mean,
to 40. Like he played really well.
as an AR player, that's pretty good on evac. What's quite a close quartered map for the most part. But besides from that, obviously, Millennium then took the S&D 6-0. What really happened there? Because it was very frustrating to watch. It just seemed like every move that you made, they were 2 steps ahead. In all fairness.
They're far superior at that map than we are.
We weren't on the same page in the ban and protect either.
Yeah. Ban and protect was a shambles.
Yeah.
I banned a trophy.
Yeah, I was watching it and I was thinking,
We've never done that before. I was just like guys, I'm gonna do something different, yeah. And we're gonna ban a trophy here.
I mean, now's the time to do it.
Any objections? I was like, anyone get any objections? And people were like, nah, go for it. And obviously we lost the map. And then afterwards, like, why the f did you protect it or ban it? And I was just like, I mean, no one said no.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing is it's still kind of trial and error in terms of what things were. I mean, for all you know, you could have done that and realized it really kind of made Millennium's game, a disadvantage, etc. But it's better to do it now than at LAN, as we say about some of the chokes we've had, etc. But after that, you went into the uplink, what was very frustrating to watch because I think you were up about 9-4 with about 2 minutes to go, roughly, something around that. And they just got you in kind of a in essence, a spawn trap where you were spawning kind of towards back alley and tin, and it just kind of, you couldn't get out of it, and I think Swanee just ripped out the scythe and all sorts. Kind of what was going through your heads at that point?
I think to go up 9-4, me and Nick done like a really good team push. I think he was mid-map with the ball and he threw it over like the mid-street wall.
Yeah. And
I was pushing Tool Alley at that point. That pulled the opposition all over the place. They were literally all over the place. I'm pretty sure we got 4 dead. Yeah. And then they just pushed our side, set up a new ball, and they just killed us like over and over again. The first time they killed us, like we should have realised, right, they've got full control of our base. Let's not go back. Let's overextend.
I did see, just sorry to cut you off, but I did see at one point, I think Nolson went into their spawn building and got up top with an ICR to kind of obviously cut off the choke them in terms of picking up the uplink drone every time. So
that was a good play. I'm pretty sure that was Brian actually. Yeah, it was Brian.
Oh, it was Brian. Either way, I thought it was a good play to kind of counter what they were doing. If they've got control of your base, let's stop them getting the drone. But I mean, obviously, it didn't really work out because I think he dropped down from there and then went mid and kind of ended up getting killed. But overall, was that kind of a good experience in terms of trying to work out what you need to do if you're in a position where you're being basically spawn trapped and they're all over your base?
We legit had a 30-minute conversation or discussion, if you want to call it that, after that map, about how in future we're gonna counter that situation and how we're gonna counter it pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna obviously say what we said to each other, but we know exactly what we're gonna do.
Yeah. The main thing is you're continuously talking it over as a team. You're like, let's realize what's happened and now move forward in terms of how we can kind of counter it, etc.
Yeah. As a team, we just messed up, and we know should it happen again, what we're gonna do and how we're gonna win that map.
Yeah,
if
precisely.
we get that leading position again.
Now, moving on from that, we then had, I believe, Breach CTF. Absolutely amazing map to watch just in general for two neutral kind of, if you're not a fan of either team, I think it was an absolute amazing map to watch. Back and forth, no one got a cap as it seems to be the normal in CTF. We got to about, I think, about 30 seconds. I don't know who it was that ran the flag itself, but that was just, it was incredible to watch kind of how it all unfolded, etc. I mean, what was going through your minds at about like a minute to go, knowing that you haven't really been able to break their base, and then all of a sudden this one play, a couple kills, and you're away.
It was all Zach.
Well,
Zach the genius.
It was all
So,
Zach. See, even though, sorry. See, even though we were tied 0-0 at half time, we'd won the game because we got streaks. That's pretty
so I
much.
had a hailstorm in the first half.
Yeah, I remember you were camping greenhouse for your Cerberus. You're 1 kill away, and you I don't know what was going through your head, but you looked away towards the
Like,
wall
Boston
run, and then
Because somebody went over my head. I'm pretty sure it's Shea without dead silence. That's why the guy greenhouse turned around.
yeah, that was it. I remember someone went over your head without you knowing, but then got killed mid or something or other.
Who was that?
He
So
was.
I was bottom greenhouse corner, and somebody wall run on top of greenhouse, and the guy bottom greenhouse came out chasing you and saw me.
Really?
If you
We
go
won
back
the
and
map.
watch
We
it.
won the map.
Yeah, luckily so.
Not
But
bad,
you
not
were.
bad,
He was literally a kill off Cerberus, and I was
Honestly,
thinking,
like,
no,
it's a
what
blessing in
happened?
disguise. It's a blessing in disguise because last time we got a Cerberus and CTF, we lost the map. So blessing in
Yeah,
disguise.
but I mean, just to bring that up, is Cerberus even like a valid streak on Breach? Because from my looking at Breach as a map, it's very much kind of sectional. I mean, some sections you can't even get to with a Cerberus, etc. So, like, is it, even if you got that Cerberus, is it a map that a Cerberus is really influential? I mean, I guess you can put it in their base, etc. I mean, what are your opinions on it?
I like to pull it mid.
Yeah,
'Cause if you pull it in the base, you fuck up the spawns, because obviously the Cerberus is going to block a spawn.
right.
So if you pull it mid, it like cuts off mid.
So it's
because
like an
it
additional
still
person
kills
on the
people.
map.
Yeah, it still kills
Okay.
people.
Yeah.
But
And it's
they
been
just
obviously
can't go
buffed.
past it.
It's been buffed as well, so it's actually gonna do more down. It's gonna be actually better in terms of getting kills, etc. So I guess that makes sense. But moving aside from that, it was 2-2 going in to the S&D, and it was very much back and forth. I think you guys probably knew that you had to come out very strong at the start after what happened in the first S&D. But towards the end, Millennium just seemed to kind of pull away. There was that one incident, I presume you guys talked it over, where you were in a 2v1 against Tommy. One of you's glitch to kind of get away from him. I think Nolson was the other player, but you weren't really working as a team. I think that was the biggest thing. You weren't really working as a team to either just playing the time, because I think you had bombed down. You only had about 15 seconds to go. You were both doing separate things. One was challenging, one was kind of hiding. And then obviously the person who challenged dies. Nolson kind of, I think, gets unlucky because he's running through the spawn building, and then Tommy just happens to catch him.
I mean, Zach was in this situation. From my point of view, as soon as that was in a 2v1, and we knew where he was, both people should have just like challenged him. One of them should have baited him out.
Yeah.
One of them should have challenged, and that would have been.
Yeah.
Simplest
Especially
of what we do.
after one of you used glitch.
Yeah.
It was very confusing to follow, but yeah.
We used 2 specialists, and we still couldn't win the 2v1.
Yeah.
Without the specialists, we could have simply won that 2v1, but we just.
Yeah,
Honestly, it was-
because either way you would have traded that kill probably,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
obviously the second player, Tommy, wouldn't have known where he was. He could have just popped out. Tommy would have probably been weak. But you know, it's again one of those learning curves that you guys are going to obviously learn from going forward. It's just another kind of situational play that obviously you'll know about going forward, etc., and just working on teamwork. But
It's literally, it was all it came down to was simple. It was like a simple communication, and we just lacked it.
yeah. Well, doesn't really matter because at the moment you're sitting 5-5 mid-table. What I mean, honestly, is this where you would have liked to be at this stage? Because I would have said, especially, I mean, on reflection, that Giants game is kind of gonna be kind of kicking you in the heels in terms of you could be 6-4 if you'd obviously won it. But ultimately, you're 5th, tied with Giants and TCM. But you have a better, obviously, map count ratio at the moment. And going forward, I mean, to look at some positives, you played Millennium twice, you've played exceL twice, I believe. So in terms of hard matches, yeah, you played Infused twice as well.
Infused twice, exceL once.
Played Infused twice.
Oh, you played
and
exceL.
twice.
Yeah, that was it. So you've only got to play Splice and exceL again, and then besides that, they're probably all matches that you would consider like winnable pretty comfortably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next week we have
wait. I think the way, like, see the way the standings are right now, like for us, I don't think it tells a story at all.
No, precisely. I mean, especially against Millennium, and against, well, Millennium both times, in all fairness, and even exceL. I mean, these two teams, the players on the team, you know, you would consider some of the best in Europe. So considering how you've done against these teams, it's going to be very interesting. But obviously, going forward now, the aim is obviously to qualify and to get as good of a seed as possible going into playoffs. I think we all know it's capable of doing. It's just a case of kind of winning map by map, game by game, series by series, whatever. But next week, looking at it, you've got Pulse and TCM. So kind of a bit of a reliever in terms of you're not playing Millennium, you're not playing exceL or another team that's in the top half of the table. And going forward, obviously, fingers crossed you can do it.
Oh, Tommy, is Zach playing COD?
Probably, knowing him.
God.
When he's looking away from the camera, you just
This
know.
guy is something else. Can I just say something about the league?
Grinder, bro. Just
Yeah.
grind.
I feel like we've obviously shown our potential in S&D.
Yeah.
We just need to keep working at it. Our respawn is literally one of the best. On our day, we can beat anyone in respawn as far as I'm concerned. Like the league standings, we're 5-5. The game against Giants, we shouldn't have lost. If our respawn was good in the two series against Millennium and exceL that week, if our respawn was good then those two series could have went either way. The game yesterday against Millennium, we messed it up. That was literally we had that game in the
But the thing is,
hand.
you're still continuously learning. You wanted to obviously try something new, and the ban and protects, and it obviously just didn't pay off. I mean, in theory, when you look at it, besides from that loss against Giants, you've lost to Millennium twice, exceL once, and Infused. That's not a bad record by any means, considering the caliber of teams and players that are on their rosters, etc. So I think there's a lot of positives to take away. Obviously, let's hope now we can learn from these mistakes. Fingers crossed.
I think we've made more mistakes than anyone in this league. But
yeah, and you're still, you know, sitting pretty comfortably kind of in the middle. Yes, you're tied with TCM and Giants, and effectively, if they get a better record or map count than you next week, then they could potentially put you in relegation. But ultimately, you're not a Pulse. You're not 0-10. We're just obviously... I think that the second half of the season is going to be a lot easier. I personally think, because obviously, as I said, you've only got to play Splice and exceL once, and outside of that, you're playing every team that's below you. So,
we're the better team in like the majority of those games. So it's just a matter of keeping tracks and keep them what we're doing.
Precisely.
We should win those games.
As you can see by Zach's dedication by playing Call of Duty during this video, shows his respect. Hopefully we'll see it happen. But this is pretty much going to conclude out this video.
Losing anymore, though.
Losing. We'll have to.
Being a loser, man. Wait, Tommy, I watched see the game against Millennium yesterday.
Yes.
I watched it back this morning after I woke up, and I legit felt physically sick.
Right.
But that's bad.
But that's good, because that
I'm
means...
sick of that feeling, quite literally.
Yeah, but that's good, because that means it's going to drive you on, its motivation, etc. And
100%.
It's a wake-up call, so that's the main thing. But this is pretty much going to do it for this video. Been a bit longer than we anticipated, but thank you, QwiKeR and Zed, obviously, for sparing a bit of your time before you get on and scrim, etc. Obviously, you can check the boys out during the CWL. Happens on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, twitch.tv/Call of Duty. Thank you as well to all of our sponsors, obviously, for continually supporting us and everything that we do, etc. and allowing us to kind of thrive, etc. And obviously, hopefully, I will see you two in Germany for playoffs.
Hell yeah!
Fingers crossed. But other than that, obviously, I think the event that will be before that will be Am2 Pro, so that's going to be another, obviously, test of how you guys can get on.
For that weekend.
Can I just say? Something?
Oh, you stopped playing COD?
exeL just paid out.
Hey, where did you come at exeL? Third, fourth? Fourth? So you can get that Dominoes you wanted now.
Woo!
Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Smack that like button, and obviously subscribe as well to see more content from the exeL team, staff, players, whoever it is. And we'll see you next time with a brand new video. But as always, have a good day.